Every date hides forgotten stories. But sometimes, a series of days align, forming a chain of events powerful enough to reshape nations, rewrite borders, ignite revolutions, and echo across centuries. For 8 days, from November 23rd to November 30, the world trembled. A president was murdered on live television. A thief vanished into the sky. Empires rose and fell. The universe whispered its secrets. And the greatest album in history was born. This is not just a timeline. This is the week when everything changed. Welcome to OBSCURIA. The world was still reeling from the assassination of JFK. Millions watched their televisions, searching for answers. Then, another gunshot. Live, unfiltered. Jack Ruby stepped from the crowd and shot Lee Harvey Oswald point blank. It became the first murder ever broadcast on live television and launched decades of conspiracy theories still unresolved today. A government collapsed not through violence, but through roses. Tens of thousands marched into Parliament holding flowers, and on that cold evening, President Shevardnadze resigned. A peaceful revolution had won. In a smoky saloon in San Francisco, a strange machine played music for the first time. A coin, a click, a mechanical hum, and history's first jukebox came alive, the ancestor of every playlist we listen to today. A book that would divide the world and unite science. Darwin's Origin of Species challenged centuries of belief. Some called it blasphemy, others called it truth, but no one could ignore it. News networks replayed Oswald's death across the country. People watched again and again, searching for clues, searching for meaning, searching for someone to blame. Hijacker known as D.B. Cooper jumped into a stormy night with $200,000 and disappeared. No body, no parachute, no trace. It remains the only unsolved hijacking in U.S. history. In 1973, medical schools across America finally opened their doors widely to women, a profession once guarded by men, reshaped forever. A secret deal, weapons, rebels, and one of the biggest political scandals in U.S. history. On this day, the truth broke and Washington shook. Scientists in Siberia began a mission many thought impossible: bring back the woolly mammoth. When the sealed tomb opened, the world gasped. Gold, artifacts untouched for 3,000 years, and whispers of a curse that would follow the expedition. Behind closed doors, Allied leaders crafted the plan that would turn the tide of World War II. A night of terror. Coordinated attacks across the city left smoke rising into the sky and changed India forever. On November 27, 1895, Alfred Nobel signed a will that shocked his family and the world. Instead of leaving his massive fortune to relatives, Nobel ordered that it be used to create awards for those who benefit humanity. At a time when dynamite, his invention, was being used in wars, Nobel tried to rewrite his legacy. And from that single signature, 5 prizes were born. The Nobel Prize became the global symbol of human progress, rewarding science, peace, and literature, a legacy stronger than the explosions that made his name. By late 1989, the dictatorship of Nicolae Ceaușescu was collapsing under starvation, fear, and economic ruin. On November 27th, protests that began quietly started spreading across Romania. Whispers turned to chants. Chants turned to marches. And within weeks, the regime that ruled with an iron fist for decades fell in a sudden, violent revolution. What began as a spark on November 27th became one of the fastest collapses of a dictatorship in modern history. Paris and its suburbs awoke to chaos on November 27, 2007. 2 teenagers died after a collision with a police car, and the anger that followed exploded. Cars burned, streets filled with clashes. The riots spread across multiple cities as youth demanded accountability, fairness, and change. It became one of France's most explosive urban crises of the 21st century. November 28, 1919. Parliament shifted forever. Lady Nancy Astor walked into the House of Commons and took her seat, becoming the first woman in British history to do so. Her presence didn't just change the room, it changed the rules. Astor fought for women's rights, child welfare, and social reform. Her election opened the door for millions who had been kept outside for centuries. In the middle of World War II, 3 men gathered in secret: Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin. On November 28, 1943, the Tehran Conference began, the first time the Big Three met face-to-face. Behind locked doors, they planned Operation Overlord, the invasion that would liberate Europe from Hitler. The decisions made in those rooms didn't just shape the war, they shaped the world that followed. A strange repeating radio signal pulsed across the night on November 28, 1967. It was discovered by Jocelyn Bell Burnell, a graduate student who noticed a rhythm that no star should have. At first, scientists joked it might be aliens, but it wasn't. It was a pulsar, a rapidly spinning neutron star, the remnant of a collapsed sun. One of the universe's most mysterious objects revealed itself through a steady cosmic heartbeat. On November 29, 1947, the United Nations voted on a plan to partition Palestine into 2 states, one Jewish, one Arab. The vote passed and instantly reshaped the Middle East. Celebration erupted on one side. Rejection and fear rose on the other. That single vote set off a chain of conflicts and histories that continue to echo today. The world didn't know it yet, but on November 29, 1963, culture was about to flip. The Beatles released "I Want to Hold Your Hand." Within weeks, the song ignited Beatlemania in the United States, breaking records and rewriting music history. It wasn't just a hit, it was the moment global pop culture activated. In a quiet California bar on November 29, 1972, a simple machine began to malfunction. The reason? Too many quarters jammed inside. The game was called Pong, the first commercially successful video game. From 2 white paddles and a pixel ball, a $1 trillion industry was born.
On November 30, 1934, Winston Churchill stood before Parliament and issued a warning. Germany is rearming and Europe is in danger. Many ignored him. Some mocked him. But Churchill saw the storm coming long before it arrived. History would later prove that on this day, he spoke the truth the world didn't want to hear.
After 339 years under British rule, Barbados finally claimed its independence on November 30th, 1966. The island erupted in celebration as the flag rose over Bridgetown for the first time. Barbados became one of the first Caribbean nations to chart its own modern destiny, a moment of pride, identity, and rebirth. November 30, 1982, the world heard something new. Michael Jackson released Thriller, an album that shattered every record imaginable. It redefined music videos, revolutionized pop, and became the best-selling album in history. Every song, every beat, every frame of Thriller left a mark on global culture that still moves generations today.
8 days, 8 turning points, a chain of echoes that shaped the world we live in. Tomorrow hides more stories, and Obscuria will bring them to light. Follow, subscribe, and step deeper into the shadows of history.